Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to do a simple step-by-step instruction on how to make a really rich bread dough. Now this is not like the normal flatbread or tennis roll dough. This has a few other additions that I'm going to show you as I'm going through it, but this can be used to make so many different types of bread-based recipes. So as you guys would have seen on my channel, I recently shared my raisin twist bread with you guys that you're seeing on the screen here. I also shared my coconut custard bread with you guys. So if you want to see those recipes, I'll have them linked in the description box down below. But this is the same dough that I use for both of them. And honestly, you can use this dough to make whatever filling and add whatever fillings or toppings that you want. You could even roll these into little balls or make them into a loaf and bake them as is, because you will get a really nice and rich bread dough. So let's get into this recipe and show you how it's made. So I'm starting off in a bowl with some warm milk. Today I'm using evaporated milk, but if you only have whole milk, you can use that. And if you wanted a vegan option, you could of course use some almond milk or any other type of vegan milks. Now into my warmed up milk, I am going in with my dried yeast. Now I am using the regular active yeast. You can go ahead and use the instant yeast too, just use it the same exact way. And into this, I am going in with about 2 tablespoons of my sugar. So I will leave a full portion of the sugar down below that I'm using, but you're only going to use 2 tablespoons out of that full batch to activate the yeast. You need the sugar for the yeast to feed off of and for it to activate properly. The rest of the sugar, you're going to set it aside and we'll use it in the bread dough later. So basically what you're going to want to do once you add these ingredients in is mix them up really well, try to break up some of those lumps of the yeast, and you're going to cover this and set it aside for about 10 to 15 minutes until it is very frothy all over the top. While our yeast is blooming, we're going to start on the dry ingredients for the dough. So in my stand mixer here, I have some all-purpose flour and I'm going in with some milk powder. Now the milk powder is one of those ingredients that I'm adding in today that's going to add a really nice richness to this bread dough. And I'm also going to go in with a little pinch of salt. As usual, all of my ingredients and the proper measurements will be down in the description box below so you can see exactly what I'm adding in. Now at this point, I am also adding in some melted butter and melted Crisco or vegetable shortening. If you don't have the Crisco, you can use all butter. Now I wanted to mention, if you didn't want to use a stand mixer, if you don't own one, you can definitely do this by hand. It'll just take a little bit more elbow grease. Now once you've mixed all of these ingredients together, you're going to go in with your custard powder. Again, this is another addition that I'm adding to my normal bread dough, so this way I can make it even richer, and it will give such an amazing taste to your bread dough. And at this point, I am also going to go in with the rest of my sugar. As you guys can see, I'm using brown and white sugar today because that's what I had on hand. I was running out of both, but if you had one or the other, feel free to use that. And now you're going to go ahead and mix everything. Now, after about 15 minutes, you're going to see that your yeast mixture has puffed up and foamed up really, really well. What you're going to do is add it into your stand mixer with all of those dried ingredients that we mixed up really well with the butter and the shortening. Now you're going to add all of this milk mixture in, and after this you're going to go ahead and gauge how much water you are going to need. You're going to mix this up first, see where you're at, and if you decide that you need more water, which you will because this is not enough milk for the amount of flour, you're going to go ahead and just keep adding in a little bit at a time until you get a really soft and a sticky and pliable dough. And before I start to mix, I'm also going to go in with some vanilla extract. You can also use vanilla essence if that is what you have on hand. So I started mixing in all of my milk mixture with that yeast, and as you guys can see, there's a lot of dried flour around the sides of the bowl. So I'm going in and streaming in a little bit of warm water at a time. Remember, you want to keep it warm because if it is not warm water and it's too hot or it is too cold, it will kill that yeast that you just activated. So keep on adding it in until you get a really soft and sticky dough and something that is nice and pliable. So I've been kneading my bread dough for about 8 minutes at this point, and once you see that it leaves the sides of the bowl, it is nice and smooth on the outside and it is no longer sticking to your fingers, that is your indication that the bread dough is done. Also, when you form it into a ball and you press on it, it should bounce back to you a little bit, just to show that you form the glutens within the dough. Again, if you are doing this by hand, it will take a little longer, but just keep working at it until it is nice and smooth all over. Do not add any more flour unless it is super, super, super sticky, or else if you add too much flour, you'll get a really dense and not much of a soft bread. So I'm just forming my ball of dough into one equal sized ball. Make sure it's nice and smooth all over the top. I'm going to place it back into my bowl and I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap and let it rise for about an hour to an hour and a half, or just until it doubles in size. After it doubles in size, you can do absolutely whatever you want with this bread dough. As I was saying earlier in the video, you can make my delicious coconut custard bread with this same exact dough, or you can go ahead and make my amazing cinnamon raisin twist bread. Now, both of these bread variations were amazingly delicious. My family loved them, I love them, and I'm sure you guys will love them as well. Now, if you want to check those recipes out, remember they are in the description box down below. The links are there, so just click on it and you'll be able to check them out. And obviously, if you have any other fillings of your own that you want to experiment with and add into this bread dough, feel free to do so. This is a blank canvas type of bread dough, and you can do whatever you want with it. So with this exact same bread dough, I'm going to go ahead and work on yet another bread variation recipe for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this quick little tutorial today on how to make this bread dough. I hope you get in your kitchens and start experimenting. If you've been enjoying the content that you've been seeing on my channel, make sure you hit that red subscribe button so this way you're notified every time I post my newest videos. And of course, give this video a nice big thumbs up and leave your wonderful comments down below. I love hearing from each and every one of you and seeing how you all are doing. So I'll see you guys again very soon in my next video. Bye everyone.